Welcome. Thank you so much to all of you for coming. This is Deep Dive into Olive Oil, which is brought to you from the Entrepreneur Committee of Les Dames d'Escoffier, New York. We could really feel the excitement from so many of you as this event developed, and we're thrilled that you're joining us today for this conversation and this tasting. My co-chair, Lori Jean Levy, guided me into this world of olive oil like a Sherpa. The deeper we went, the more inspired I became, and still there's so much more left to explore. While speaking with the women on this panel, more than once, I felt chills up my spine as they set a scene for one of the most ancient foods, fruit juice, really, to find its footing in the modern world. We hope to kindle the same passion in all of you. I'm Penny Stankiewicz. I'm the chair of the Entrepreneur Committee at Les Dames d'Escoffier, New York. I am a chef. I'm an entrepreneur, lifelong learner. I'm the host of LDNY's Living the Dream podcast, and I'm thrilled to introduce you to our panel of inspiring entrepreneurs and executives who are entrenched in the world of olive oil. And I'm going to ask you right before I do these introductions, if everyone could just mute themselves. And if you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll do our best to try to get to them. All right, now that I've introduced myself, now I'd like to introduce to you my co-chair for this event, Lori Jean Levy. She was the primal inspiration for it. Without her, this would have never happened. She is the CEO of My Global Table, which imports and distributes some of the highest quality olive oil available in the US market. She's the executive vice president of trade and policy for women in olive oil, and she is the co-vice president of Slow Food Atlanta. Hey, Lori, yay. My next introduction is Maria Loy, the CEO of Loy Food Products and chef owner of Loy Estiatorio. God, I hope I said that right because I practiced really hard. Maria is a dominant force in the culinary world. She's an author, an entrepreneur, an educator, a television host of the series Life of Loy on PBS. And she's also been named the official ambassador of Greek gastronomy by the Chefs Club of Greece, where she is a passionate and dedicated ambassador for Greece and its bounty. Then we have Marie Charlotte Piro, the dynamic CEO of Olio Piro, which she oversees the worldwide marketing efforts of this international award-winning extra virgin olive oil Piro. She's forged the brand's most significant collaborations with top chefs, food writers, and retail partners. And she manages the complex importing process that this quality Tuscan extra virgin olive oil demands. Next, we have Maria Reyes, who is a specialty foods guru. With 43 years in the food industry, Maria has a truly unique perspective on extra virgin olive oil. Currently, she's the category manager at UNFI, and she has a full-scale knowledge of the food industry's landscape, nationally and otherwise. Maria shares her expertise in a wildly popular class for the Specialty Foods Association on what to know when partnering with distributors and brokers. Christina Strabaku is the poetic, passionate founder of Leah Premium Olive Oil. Christina oversees the production of Leah from her olive gardens in Greece. She's an educator, a marketer, and an advocate for farmers and sustainability. She actually, for the first time, really taught me what sustainability really means, not just a keyword. Christina is dedicated to the practices that have made Leah a premium award-winning oil and aims to save olive oil biodiversity and promote the importance of extra virgin olive oil consumption in a daily diet. Not a bad idea. And our last, but certainly not least person on this panel tonight is Alexis Kerner. Alexis is a US-born expat living in Spain, where she conducts olive oil tastings through her company, The Olive Oil Workshop. She's been guiding people just like us through olive oil tastings for more than 2 decades. As an expert taster who has served on jury panels throughout the extra virgin olive oil producing world, she is the ideal guide through the tasting portion of this program. And with that, lengthy introductions, I'm ready to get started. And I want to start with Christina Strabaku. When we were first talking, you called yourself an olive oil activist. Why does olive oil need an activist?
Yeah, so first of all, Kalispera, good evening from the beautiful Messenia. Messenia is in the south part of Greece, a very nice place to visit. Hopefully one day I will see you here in my homeland. Yes, correct. correct, Penny. I feel like an olive oil activist. As an olive oil activist, I can say that I'm driven from the desire to save and promote the cultural heritage of olive oil. Olive oil is not just a product. Olive oil is deeply connected with history, traditions, and identity of many regions. And of course, I don't talk only about Greece, because we have Italy, Spain, Portugal, all the Mediterranean countries. So by advocating for responsible production and consumption, I aim to ensure that this cultural legacy is preserved for future generations. As you know, the aging population of farmers is a big concern because it threatens the continuity of the olive oil production, but not only the production of the natural food. So encouraging and inspiring young entrepreneurs, young generations to take up farming and embrace the olive oil heritage is vital for the sustainability of our industry.
Okay. We lost you. We lost your audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, got you.
Okay. Okay. I don't know at least what point you were hearing me. So I was telling that my goal is to promote sustainable farming practices and support small-scale farmers, because they are crucial to preserve the tradition and methods of the olive oil cultivation. And I use olive oil cultivation because cultivation culture, and all this is part of our culture. All these methods that they are using, they are often involved in deep understanding of the land, of the climate, and the different techniques that pass down through generations. Then you know what? I feel that preserving olive gardens, as I like to say, and not olive groves, olive gardens with century-old olive trees, it's not just about the production of olive oil. It's about protecting valuable ecosystems and ensuring the health of our planet. Olive trees contribute to biodiversity, prevent soil erosion. They have cultural and historical significance. So by promoting sustainable agricultural practices, I feel that we contribute to the preservation of these olive groves and also of their ecological benefits in our planet. If you allow me 1 minute more, I would say that challenging misleading marketing tactics is another aspect of olive oil activism. By supporting authentic, high-quality producers, we also encouraging transparency, ethical standards in this industry. This ensures that our consumers have access to genuine products while supporting producers who uphold the traditional methods, and they give all the values associated to the olive oil. I would say that my advocacy is to ensure that future generations can enjoy the benefits of this prestigious product while supporting farmers, communities, and the environment. The last months, I worked in order to create, apart from Lia Olive Oil, the Lia Hub, a modern hub that will have a physical place in my hometown, and I hope that will inspire younger generation to abandon cities and job positions in multinational companies and come back to the roots of bliss, as I like to say, the olive gardens, and create their own businesses and with many high standards, and they will offer to the market very, very authentic and natural products.
Thank you, Christina. That was so beautiful. You make olive oil farming seem idyllic, and that we should all just drop everything we're doing right now, move to Greece, and build our gardens. Like, that's what I want to do now. I'm coming to you in the fall. So I wanna now jump in because you talked about a little bit of the fraud, and that's what makes it very difficult for a consumer to know. How do we know, right? So Maria Loy, I know that proper quality sourcing is very important to you. Tell me about that from your point of view, and also tell me how does an American consumer understand what a quality oil is? What should we be buying? Are you with me? Is Maria Loy still here? Okay, so there you are. I can't hear you though. Is it me or is it you? Lorea,
Yeah,
is it her?
she's not
Or me?
muted, is her?
She's not muted.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. You're not muted. Do you want to, can you unmute everyone and then mute them back again? We did a tech check. We're all good. We have no idea what's going on. Okay, I don't want to keep everyone. Maria, I'm so sorry. We have to figure out what's going on, why we can't hear you. You can hear me though, right? Yeah. Okay. Lori, I can hear Lori. All right. Lori, I'm going to jump to you. Talk to me. How do we source? You once said something about that you only pick oils where you go to the farm. Why?
Well, for me, it's important to see how the producers work and what their methods for sustainability and biodiversity are. At this point in my career, I'm very interested in working with producers that are very committed to good practices. There are all kinds of olive oil, which we're going to talk about in the next hour with Alexis, but good standard practices go from super premium to blended olive oils. I think in talking about transparency, what matters the most is that you communicate to your end user exactly what is in the bottle. And as far as sourcing, it's really important to go to qualified sources where you understand how things are kept and maintained, what year the harvest is, that things are not treated chemically or colored. There are so many avenues that we could talk about here about things that can happen in the processing of olive oil to change the natural character. What we're going to impart to you over the next 2 hours is why that matters, how a consumer might figure out what is actually in the bottle to differentiate for themselves, in the hopes that everybody is buying authentically what it is they're paying for at whatever level they're able to enjoy olive oil.
What's the starting price? What's the starting price that a consumer should be prepared to pay for a quality bottle of oil?
Olive oil or extra virgin olive oil?
Extra virgin olive oil. Thank you.
Extra virgin olive oil, I think if you're looking at a $15 a liter, more or less, you are looking generally at something that is likely a blended product or is something, you know, we're going to get to it later, but as we talk about olive oil being akin to wine, sometimes if you go to a producer, you know, is making great quality oil and you want a value proposition, maybe you buy an oil that they're making and blending as opposed to their highest production of super premium. But I think you can trust your source by just a little education and digging a little and understanding how to read the back of the bottle.
All right. Maria Reyes, would you like to talk to me a little bit about an educated consumer? How important is that?
I love to talk to you about that. You know, an educated consumer is going to understand the price of what they're paying for. I mean, I think that's the simplest way that I could put it. And if you think about it, like Lori used a comparison to wine, wine is made from many different regions in many different parts of the world, different grapes, different prices, right? Well, it's the same thing with olive oil. So if you learn anything, that what is the difference between wine and olive oil? There's really not a lot of difference other than one has alcohol and the other one doesn't. One is healthy and the other one not necessarily so, right? So how do consumers get educated? Consumers have been getting educated for several years now. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 years, I'm talking for several years. I've been in the olive oil side of the industry for over 14 years now. And the category and the consumers' education and understanding of what they're paying for has changed to where consumers today want to know where that oil is being made. Where is it coming from? How is it being made? What is the story behind it? And I'm not just talking about a fictional story behind the label, beautiful packaging, whatever it might be. You know, they want to know, you know, if it can be conveyed to them, like what Christina said, right? Like how much of an activist she is and a believer of the product that she's making and why she believes that people should use it. So consumers find their education or get educated on product, so much of it more than ever in social media. So understanding what you're communicating to consumers in social media, no matter what brand it is critically important. That's where they could get good information or bad information, unfortunately. You know, the bottom line is that a consumer is willing to pay for quality. So an educated consumer is going to understand that a $30 bottle of 500 milliliter, AKA 17 ounces in the US measurement, $30, $40, they're gonna know what they're paying is, generally speaking, is quality. And, you know, if you break it down by the ounce, they're really not paying a lot. So how much do you pay when you go buy a, you know, cup of coffee at Starbucks?
Well, make the comparison for us to a bottle of wine. I've heard this comparison before.
A bottle of wine, you know, you could drink, my husband and I are wine drinkers, and we can drink, you know, an everyday, you know, $20 bottle, we consider table wine, right? For maybe during the week or whatever. But if we're gonna have friends for dinner and we're gonna have a nice steak dinner, we're not gonna spend $20. Chances are they're gonna show up with an $80 bottle of wine.
Yeah, but not just that. I think it was Charlotte that made the point, forgive me, that Marie Charlotte from Piro, that you're going to get a bottle of wine, but you're going to drink it in one night versus the olive oil, which you're going to enjoy over a period of time.
And that's why when you break it down by the ounce and the benefits you're getting and just the pure pleasure, because I tell you, I get so much satisfaction, every person that I've spoken to over the last several years about quality olive oil, and when they see the difference between a not a quality olive oil and a quality olive oil, and just their expression on their face says it all. And unfortunately, we can't reach everyone one by one, but you know, events like this one, and you know, articles that get published, and so many social media influencers today have understood that and are trying to convey that. And so, you know, in my opinion, you know, an educated consumer is key to the success of the product, the type of product that we're talking about here today. And many, many people are been doing that for quite some time now, and they will continue to do so.
Speaking of one of those people, Marie Charlotte from Piro, I wanted to talk to you a little bit because when we first started to talk, she has a beautiful bottle. Mm-hmm. Like all of the bottles, they're beautiful. Christina's Leah olive oil is beautiful. They're spectacular. You go on to websites where they're talking about all of the award winners, and then there's page after page after page of beautiful bottles. How do you communicate your value to the customer? How do you get it out there? How do you let them know who you are and what your values are?
So this is a big challenge, and that's our biggest challenge, is to be understood for who we are, which is a premium quality olive oil. And for a minute, we tried to do it all by ourselves. Oh, we are one of the best on the market. It's going to work out, you know, and people are going to get it right away. But no, people here in the US are not educated yet. Consumers are not yet educated for a premium olive oil. But most of all, we realize that we can't do it by ourselves. That's the thing. And we realize that in this market in the US that's so competitive, with olive oil brands everywhere, extra virgin olive oil, wannabe extra virgin olive oil, squeeze bottle, all kinds of things, you know, that make it more appealing for the consumer. But you know, being a premium quality olive oil, the only way we found to be noticed is to bring high quality premium olive oil together, to make the consumer aware that, yes, it's okay to pay $50 plus for a 16, 17 ounce olive oil bottle. And for this to be able to reach the consumer, we needed to explain to the retailers as well, yes, it's okay to have a top shelf of olive oil. This top shelf is what we're working on. And it's really hard because for a lot of retailers, it's a risk to take. Why am I going to buy some $50 plus olive oil, put it on my shelf, and are they going to sell? Well, the more of us is up there, the more comfortable the consumer is going to be saying, oh, it's okay to spend money on olive oil. Look, I'm already spending money on wine. Back in the 80s, who would have thought that the American consumer would spend so much money on wine all of a sudden? Back in the 80s, there was nothing. And all of a sudden, now wine is this biggest, you know, trend, and everybody's a wine connoisseur now. Well, I think that we are at the beginning of this in the American market, where people are getting more and more interested about olive oil. Of course, for us, we are an Italian Tuscan olive oil. So there is all the poetry behind it, right? All the Tuscan groves and the fantastic life in Italy and the cuisine and all of that. So Piro benefits a lot also from this passion about Italy that, you know, is so big right now. But most of all, the importance of quality and of traceability of the product is really big with consumers, and putting people together, products who can offer this is really important for us. So how does this happen? We at Piro started business in the US in early 2020. So as you can guess, the first couple of years for us was really challenging. There was no retailer wanted to take new product. There was no food shows. There were no distributors. So we had to do it all by ourselves. And we started calling retailers around the country when we started to reopen in 2022 to take us on. And we had to explain them that, yes, it is a category. The luxury olive oil is a category and you will sell it. And we grew from 20 retailers to over 100 retailers in just a year, and it's going faster and faster. And actually what we're doing now is taking all these retailers and going to distributor with them and say, look, we have the accounts for you, take on our business. You know, we had to do it kind of the other way around because we had to survive the pandemic. But let's go back to the luxury olive oil category. We are not pioneers in there, you know, other families and people in Italy have done that as well. I'm thinking of Piero Plinetti, who and his wife Lorenza, who were really pioneers in opening the American market to how fantastic is olive oil. And in their path, we are following with beautiful Italian olive oil and beautiful Spanish olive oil and beautiful Californian olive oil, beautiful Greek olive oil, obviously, and all over the world as well. I'm talking Chile, I'm talking South Africa, you know, you can find beautiful product everywhere, but making the American consumer comfortable to buy it is another story. So there is this fantastic organization called the Extra Virgin Alliance, for instance, where high quality olive oil can adhere, and they have very specific standards. For the first time, this alliance is actually exhibited in the food show. They're going to have a pavilion, which is a big news for, you know, quality olive oil. And we're really hoping that this is going to keep on growing. So the more of us on this top shelf, the better for everybody and for the consumer, because they will have access to fantastic product everywhere. You know, you won't have to go to big cities to get them or to buy it online with like a heavy shipping fee. Being able to bring Piro and upscale olive oils everywhere is really what we're hoping to achieve.
Well, I'm excited to see that happen. Maria Lloyd, I think we're back. Are we back and working? You're muted now. Try to. Hello? Can you try to say something, Maria? No.
It's not working.
I don't know why it's not working. We had a perfectly good time. Do you want to try to call back in again? Because I desperately want to. You're very different than the other two ladies, and I definitely want to get you into this. Go out and come back. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. I don't want to move too far from that, guys, because the difference with Maria, we have a funny little setup here. Both Marie Charlotte and Christina work in a family business together with their family, with their brothers, actually. And they both kind of came in and made it better, let's just say. And that's a very unique proposition. But with Maria Lloyd, it's a little different because she doesn't manufacture her own oil, right? So she has to source. And so her point of view is going to be very different, which is why I wanted to sneak her in now. But we will get her there one way or another. Somebody just let me know. Lorraine, can you just let me know if she's back? When
She's back.
She's back? Let's try it.
Can you hear me?
Yes!
Okay, good.
Hey, all right. Third time's the charm. So Maria, I don't know if you heard all of that, but I was just saying how both Charlotte and Christina both work with family businesses and they produce their own olive oil. You're different in that you have to source your olive oil. So tell me, how is that? Tell me everything.
Well, I have my family olive oil, but it's not enough anymore because it's so small. The quantities that we need is a lot. So that's why I had to go to other groves, in Crete, in Kalamata, near Christina. But no, I do produce olive oil and I do produce loyla, the olive, and I make sure, that's what I want to give you some answers from what I got before, how do I source? I make sure to check the fields, like the land, the trees, the olives, everything. And of course, the facility, because I want everything to be sustainable. So I go and visit over there multiple times a year. And because I'm very involved in the process, you have to be in there if you want to succeed, and as I say, that doesn't like if you cut my veins, like olive oil comes out. So yes, it is. And I think it's not the same what I want. What I want, working with Professor Willett from Harvard University. And I remember, what my grandfather was telling me, because I'm a farm girl. I grew up in a farm. And I was growing like the olives, everything, but the olive oil, it was my love. And it is still my love. So whatever my grandfather told me about why I have to have olive oil, about the polyphenols, about the oleocanthal, that's what I want to do. And of course, we are very lucky, because we have now the restaurant, we have the books, we have the television show. So this, it allows us to reach, the customer easier from other people that they need a lot of marketing to do that. And it's more an organic experience for them, So they see the show, for example, The Life of Loy, when they open the books, not only my book, and thank God there are many books now for olive oil, and they eat at Loy Estiatorio. And this allows, for a fully immersive experience, I could say, they see the olive oil in action. They don't see that it's something that they cannot touch, they touch it, it tastes, and then, okay, what can I say? Beyond the experience, the olive oil, I'm talking to them about the research and what we're doing. And they are so much interested about it, and they said, what olive oil is the best? They have to invest. They have to invest $20. They have to invest $50, to go and buy some different bottles. And this is the way that they will know. Of course, we will have the competition after that, and they will know which is good. But you know, this is a customer, and this now that's why all these brands, they're coming into olive oil, okay? And because the consumer is more educated now. And thank God and thank other people that they started in the beginning of the century, not this century, the beginning of last century, you know, they helped us a lot. And if I can say, I have to thank my Greek ancestors here that they did all these diners and they were using olive oil in the Greek salad. You know, yes, it's big, it's huge.
That's amazing.
So, yes, you know, people, they don't understand, you know, they said, where? Yeah, you had it in the Greek salad, it immediately goes into your brain. You know, it's not something like, oh, I don't know, what is that? You know, it's a ghost. No. So
But I do want to start going towards branding, because I think that, again, what the other people on this panel have to do, they have their work cut out for them to get their brand name. And with you, because you already have a certain amount of celebrity and you have the network and the books and the following, right? So you're a trusted brand. So when someone buys your product, even year over year, where it might be a little different because there was more rain, less rain, whatever the case might be, they know that they're going to get something quality from you. Do you have to market that now, or does it just sell itself at this point?
it's actually we don't, but if you think that Coca-Cola puts marketing over there, you're like, everyone has to market something. You know, anyway, there it is. It's not like the very first year, okay? When we had it in Whole Foods, you know, they got it because they loved it. They came to the restaurant and they said, oh, this is the best olive oil. And that's how I got, actually, the first year that we got it, we got the Sophie Award, you know, best new product. It was, they showed me that. It's two surprises that I got in my life about the olive oil. And they told me, oh, you got the Sophie Award. Come on. I said, olive oil? Out of 2,000 entries, and it's impossible. You know, I thought that they were joking. So, and also last week that we got the Telly Award, you know, the national award, you know, for the show. You know, Dara says, we got an award. I said, come on, Dara, don't tell me this again, you know. And we did. Out of so many thousands of people, you know. I don't know, maybe I'm lucky because I love olive oil so much. Maybe I speak in the show so much about olive oil. God is giving me all of that. About that. And we don't say that we're serious. We love what we're doing with olive oil, you know. We love. And I don't want to say that companies came, you know, with butter, and they said, we don't want you, because when I go to live with Kelly and Mark now, live with Kelly and Ryan is a big fan of olive oil. You know, he doesn't eat anything else except olive oil. So, and they were telling me, we don't want you to say butter, you know, like, to advertise, just don't say I hate butter. And I said, that's not possible, because I don't like butter and I will be always your enemy. So that's what it is. So no, I believe in marketing. I believe in marketing very much, actually, and the right marketing. It's not that we don't need marketing.
I hear you, I understand. I want to tie this back, because what I feel like it is with all of you, but in very unique and different ways, is authenticity. You are authentically you, and you are your product. Forgive me if I'm overstepping, but that's how I'm seeing it. And so by that level of authenticity, people know, they know you're getting you. You're always getting you 100%, right?
And so,
oh, well,
thank you.
You brought it. And of course, with Christina, you know, Christina embodies authenticity. What is authenticity to you, Christina? How do you use that to get your message across to people?
Okay, first of all, ethos and authenticity are my favorite Greek words, and also in Greek we pronounce it in the same way. I will tell you with a simple story. When I started
to create my company was 10 years ago. I had studied something different. I studied art history in Florence, but from the first moment that I went to Florence, I was shocked by the fact that my Italian friends, they were very proud for their olive oil. So I started to do courses in order to prove that my family's olive oil is the best. Then I stopped the idea of olive oil because I work in the art field sector. And now everybody asks, okay, Christina, how can an art historian be connected with olive oil? And I tell you, in order to produce an authentic premium olive oil is the best form of art. And when I started my business, I was very stressed to find out, oh my God, what I'm going to write on my website, what I'm going to communicate to the consumers, how I'm going to approach people. Because everybody writes, oh, we have natural, authentic olive oil from Greece. But behind, you don't find a garden, you don't find a mill, you don't find persons. How can I prove my authenticity? So my brother, who is an amazing producer, and he's a guy that loves nature more than everyone in the planet, he told me with a very, very easy way. He said the motto that became also the motto of our company. I said, Kostas, what is quality for us? Why Lea olive oil has a better quality from the other oils in the market? And he told, because quality means that you are doing the best when nobody sees you. This is a code for Ford that we adopt in our business. We do our best without any discount, with a maximum attention in every stage of the field. We do our best in respect of our workers. We respect nature, workers. We respect the other brands that they are in the market. These are very, very important things for us. Ethos and authenticity, I believe that somehow they form the pillars upon which genuine trust, credibility, and human connections are built. In this way, they are fostering environments that inspire and empower individuals and farms to thrive. Something else that I wanted to comment, the marketing. I had no idea about marketing. I just went to very good designers and I gave my soul what I believe about the olive oil sector and what I believe about my culture. So I came up with Lea, the white bottle, and this was the first white bottle in the market. When I went to paint the bottle white, no Spanish, no Italian producers they did. Everybody told me that I'm crazy. Everybody, they said, no, the Yinete, it doesn't going to happen. You will not make it. But I always like to follow my instinct, because real marketing means also to communicate your truth, your values. I know that this is not an aggressive marketing. It is more romantic, more poetic. You can tell it as however you want. But in the long term, and I think that like the olive trees, in the long term, because the olive trees, they live forever. So I don't want to create a brand that it is for now for me to become millionaire. I will never become millionaire for a premium quality olive oil. But in the long term, I want to make something that it will be well established, and slowly, slowly, consumers, they come back to us because they are fed, consumers, they are fed up with marketing and aggressive communication. Consumers all over the world, they try to find authenticity. The last example that I want to share with you is that a few days ago, I had an olive oil tasting in a luxury group, and two of the people, they said, okay, can we visit your olive garden? I said, of course, you can come tomorrow. I can take some tiganites, some pancakes, the Greek pancakes, and then we can visit the garden and pick some flowers because it's a time of chamomile. So I grasped the opportunity to find people to help me with the chamomile. So they came and they got crazy. They got crazy when they understood, when we went to the garden and I saw them 20 different herbs. They smelled 20 different smells. This is the experience that the people they live, they miss. Even if I do a tasting and I say, can you smell the herbs of the olive garden? If somebody has never gone to the olive garden, has never felt the smells of the olive garden. They cannot feel it. So I believe that slowly, people, they will come back to their roots. That's right.
Cristina.
That's why. That's
Cristina,
why
please,
the motto.
can I say something to Cristina?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Cristina, you don't have to say more than we have philotimo, the Greeks. And whatever we do it with pride, and we have the best quality and authenticity, because you are authentic, you are over there, okay? You're working on that. And even if you put white bottle or blue bottle or whatever it is, the quality that it's inside, it proves it. Like you said before, you know, that
Yes,
people are texting you.
however, if you allowed me, I want to tell, when people, they ask me, which is the best olive oil in the world? Since no everybody can pick Lea olive oil bottle, I said the best olive oil in the world comes from small farms, comes from authentic producers. It doesn't matter if it is a Greek, if it is our friend Marie Sarlot, or other Spanish friend, or other producers. People, they need to understand that we are fed up with industrial olive oil and companies that they just put whatever they find in a bottle. They need to find the real farms and support farms all over the world. And this is the beauty and the plurality of the olive oil. Koroneiki variety, I'm a big expert of the Koroneiki variety, and our Lea olive oil is the only olive oil that has been awarded as the best monovarietal olive oil in the world. Is excellent when you make soups, when you make a salad, when you make a fish. But if you want to have a nice carrot soup or a nice steak, probably Marie Charlotte Piro olive oil is a better food pairing. So we need to also to educate people about olive oil food pairing in order to create, I dream of a democratic olive oil map where good producers, they are in the map, and different meats pairings are in the same map, and consumers, they are happy because finally they will discover an authentic gastronomic experience. And sorry for talking so much, but when I talk about olive oil, I cannot put a full stop.
So, Christina, when we were talking, you felt to me like a natural marketer. Like you can talk about the influences and the authenticity and all of that, but you also had the savvy to put all the pieces together. And when people did tell you were crazy and did say that the white bottle wasn't going to work, you didn't listen. And that takes a lot of internal personal strength to push through when everyone else is telling you you're wrong and crazy. Am I right?
Yes, so that's true. But you know what? If you go now to the market, you will find 100 white bottles. So it means that the crazy statement, I did something well. And also, if we feel and we follow our instinct, we will always win at the end, I believe, you know, because nature has good instincts. And if we build a brand based only on marketeers, probably the brand will be successful. But I always talk about farmers. Farmers, they know how to produce high quality olive oil. Farmers, they know how to save the environment. Marketing comes after, sales comes after. It's like, you know, the following step. I always have a good instinct, and also I try to build my business slowly, so I don't take many risks, because you know this famous, if you follow a course of entrepreneurship, they always make they show a picture with small steps for a successful company and big steps, one big step for another company, that probably that big steps arrives to a good economic standards, but the risk is too high. So farmers, we cannot take high risks. And
You led me
it's a different
perfectly.
concept.
You led me perfectly into the next section. Lori, she took her microphone off because she knew it was coming.
I guess.
This is Lori and Maria Reyes. Talk to me. What does a business do? You have all of this competition. You have your eyes on cracking the US market. You have a lot of big dreams. What next?
Okay, well, I think it's really important that people understand there are a lot of great products to bring to market, and there are a lot of different ways to go about it. While everybody's dream might be that shelf at Whole Foods, that's a really expensive and a difficult road to get to that shelf at Whole Foods. My strategy when I work with brands in development is very simply crawl, walk, run. You need to be very careful of your planning and your channel strategy to know where you want to go with your brand and how much the investment is going to cost to take you there. There are so many ways to make a mistake that will financially put you out of business quicker than you ever dreamed possible. I know working with smaller companies, it's very important to get that authentic message out, but also you need to make sure that your numbers work and that you understand to onboard to certain channels will take certain investment. And I advise brands that I work with to have a 1, 3, and a 5-year plan to understand where you're going, to understand what it takes to get there, to understand the investment, and to do it all in time. Making one wrong decision to onboard to a national name or a brand because you have that aha dream factor might be the biggest mistake in your career unless you do it with good guidance, mentorship, and that you are ready for that move.
Maria Reyes.
Everything that Lori said.
Plus more.
Plus more, yes, because what happens is that there's the business side of it. So you got Christina's beautiful side, right? And now you got Lori's side, right? Crawl, walk, run. Everything I believed in and everything I've communicated as well to brands and did it myself for almost 4 years with a very high-end premium brand, the Spanish extra virgin olive oil. Unfortunately, what happens there is that then the business side of it comes into play, right? And a lot of times, more often than not, brands are not willing to crawl or can't sustain that crawling. So everything has to have a balance, is really what it comes down to. And that marketing, right? It's not like at the point of where Christina, from the farming perspective, that marketing comes after. How are you going to convey that message? What is the best vehicle for you to convey that message? And what is the message that you're going to convey? So it really is a balancing act of several steps that it takes to build a brand. And honestly, besides the crawl, walk, and run, it takes that equates into time, hard work, and a lot of funds. And that's why I say that the business side comes into it. But yeah, absolutely. You got to have that strategy. You got to stick with the strategy. You got to pivot sometimes, but you got to stick with the strategy. And I find in my experience with brands that I have worked with in my previous roles and the brand that I work with, that when you bite off small bites, right? It's better. It's better for growth. It's better for the sustainability and for people to understand what you're talking about, why they should be paying $30, $40 for that bottle of olive oil. And I always come back to that because it is, a light bulb goes off when you try it. And really it's like painting that picture. How do you paint that picture? And how do you sustain the time that it takes to paint that picture? So
when a person walks into a regular grocery store
Yeah.
and anywhere in the country,
yeah,
they're not going to see these olive oils, right?
I would say that in the past, no, very few retailers you would see these types of oils at. Today, you're going to see them in more retailers and more stores or more doors than ever before in the past. Why? Because consumers have started to understand. Consumer hear and read a lot of articles. And look, while every article that is published is not 100% towards the types of products that we're talking about here today, right? So there's a lot of confusion still out there, but retailers have started to understand why they need to carry these types of oils like Christina's, and hopefully Piro's as well, you know, and like Maria Lloyd's. And you just have to be careful who you say yes to and who you actually go and address where you want to sell your products to. But really, honestly, Penny, more than ever, you're going to find these types of oils in the stores. You're not going to find them in a lot of space unless it's a specialty high-end retailer, which there's some. Christina can sells right down the street here from me, you know, 159 stores. And you might think, oh, that's a lot of stores. You know, in reality, it isn't, because we have retailers around the country that have thousands of stores. So where do you want to be? Be careful what you wish for. Being in Whole Foods, like Lori says, costs a lot of money.
I've heard a lot of people warn against actually be careful wishing for Whole Foods. It's the thing that takes.
Here's something else that I've always said. It costs a lot of money, time and work and marketing to get into that retailer, right? Convincing them and why they need to carry your product. It costs more and it's harder to keep it on that shelf.
Got it.
And that is a fact. I promise you that. And so, you know, there's the business side of it. And then the business side of it is not pretty or romantic or fun or tastes good. It doesn't, but it's a reality. So if you as a brand are able to manage that aspect of the farmer, the marketing, the quality, and the business side of it, then you're going to grow, you're going to do well, and people are going to learn about your brand. So to answer your question, more brands than ever before are in more retailer stores today than before, and growing, because consumers are understanding what they're paying for and why they should pay for a quality olive oil. Health, taste, and I mean, there's nothing better than putting a quality olive oil on anything.
It's kind of like a little luxury, a little life luxury, right? That makes living just a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Exactly. So
I want to jump to Marie Charlotte again before I see you, Marie. I know I'm going to loop back to you, but I just want to make sure that I get Charlotte in here too, because we've talked a lot about this in our pre-conversations, because Charlotte's brand's kind of at a precipice where it's about to break through, and she's been doing a lot of hard work in this. And I know that a lot of your attention goes to social media. Is that the only place that you place your attention now? Are there other places? Is it working for you?
Oh, there's a lot of places where we are putting our attention to, but as Maria Reyes said it when we prepared, if you're trying to launch a brand right now in the US, social media has to be a part of it. There's just no two ways around it. So yes, we are doing some social media. We're not spending advertising money, very little, but we want to be present in it. But here is how we use social media at Piro. And this is a direct consequence of us launching at the very beginning of the pandemic. For us, social media has allowed us to reach directly stores that we had no way to reach because we didn't have access to the food shows and we didn't have a distributor. So we went out there on Instagram, finding gourmet stores around the country, contacting them on Instagram and say, hey, that's who we are, that's what we do. So of course we needed to have a profile and what we were showing on Instagram that, you know, showed who we were, but really we are using this to reach out to mom and pop shops, or actually a lot of them are, you know, young entrepreneur owned shops. A lot of them are women owned, to ask them, hey, take a chance on us. And a lot of them did, and a lot of them did very well with us. So it works. It was a very interesting way for us to get into the market, but that worked out for us. It really did. But now we're ready, by the way, now we're ready to go to the next step. So now we have a distributor in the Northeast. We work with Baldor. We have a distributor in the Atlanta area. We have a distributor on the West Coast. We're looking for a distributor in Florida. But we are moving to the higher, you know, tier of that distribution challenge. But we had to start at the bottom. At the same time, we also sell directly to consumers. We sell actually as much to consumers as we sell to retailers. A lot of people buy on our website at oliopiro.com. They buy one bottle sometimes, or they get subscription where they get a bottle coming to them every month. And that's growing so fast because one person would buy 2 bottles, make one as a present to the other one. And before you know, I'm getting another order from that person. So it's really going fast. It's really organically, just like social media, you know, people are giving the word to each other of this new olive oil that, you know, no one had seen before here in the US before. And it's quite exciting to witness this, I have to say.
Thank you. Maria, Loy, did you still want to, did I take you too far away?
I have to add 2 things very, very fast. First of all, we cannot say, I'm a farm girl, so I cannot stress that more. We cannot say that only from small farms, you know, the olive oil is good. Because I have found even in Spain, you know, can you imagine me? Let's speaking about Spanish olive oil, but it is an amazing olive oil. I was so jealous that it was maybe better than mine. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was also, I found also in Bertolli. Who can believe that? Okay. In Bertolli, amazing olive oil came from Greece. Okay. And I checked it and I said, where do they bake it? Come on. So that's sourcing that we said before. And then I say about Maria Reyes that she said, you know, how you're going to position that. Because we made a mistake because we sell to QVC, okay? So, and it was selling like hotcakes, the olive oil, but they did it for $45. And Whole Foods, which we went in like no shelves, you know, like we didn't pay anything, thank God. Until now, we didn't pay anything in the market. It was organic going in there to every store. So Whole Foods had it for $25.99. So it was very bad for our brand. So then we pull it out. And I said, we're not giving you. I said, but it sells. I said, no. Because that made us look liars. So it's another bad position. It's not because it's selling, oh, we will raise the prices. Okay. And really, Maria Reyes, thank you for your input. Really, it's very, very big. Very nice.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
all. 2 things.
So you have to walk the talk. That's kind of my takeaway from all of this, is that you have to have an authentic product that has to be just as delicious when it's out of the bottle, as beautiful as it looks in the bottle. And you have to be able to maintain that year after year after year, which is then going back to Christina and the farming. And because every year it's going to be something different, right? So we are at 4:59, and I cannot believe that I got to 4:59 on the dot. So yay me. If anybody has a last parting word they'd like to leave people with before we move on to Alexis and the tasting portion of this program, let me know. Any of you? I see Lori, I see Maria, and Marie Charlotte. Let's start with Marie Charlotte. We'll come back to Lori.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, talk to me.
Oh, my question was, did you have like a parting something that you'd like to leave our guests with us as we move on to our tasting portion?
Thank you. I didn't hear that. Wow. I'm not prepared. It was an honor to be sitting amongst all of you ladies, because I am sitting with the biggest name in the olive oil industry. I still don't believe how I made it here, but I did, and it's a pleasure. But I want to say that authenticity to me is what really transpired about what we talked about, and being true to ourselves and leading our respective companies or activities with our guts and our principles. You know, for us, it's quality above all, is so important. And this is why working with smaller farms, as Christina was saying, is so important, because you are really working with the humans behind the olive oil. And for me, it's also very important. So glad we could express that together today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marie Charlotte. Lori, what would you like to contribute?
Well, I first want to thank these women that were with us today are some of my most respected peers, and I admire them and enjoy working with them. But leaving everybody with the thought that educated consumers help elevate the conversation. One thing we will get to in the next hour that we didn't really talk about here is freshness, how freshness really matters in the conversation. I also just want to say, as a holistic thing, olive oil, there are so many threads to pull and so many topics that come naturally off of olive oil. Water rights, technology, large scale farming versus small scale farming. You heard a little bit of us talking about smaller farmers versus commercial, but there's also a hybrid where the technology is different and machines called harvesters are used instead of pulling off the tree by hand. So just to make the point that we have 1,000 other things to talk about. Thank you to everybody at La Dame that came out to support this conversation today. And Penny, you've been a wonderful moderator, and we're so excited to talk more about olive oil. So thank you to everybody that came on the panel.
Thank you, Lori. Maria, do we have Maria Reyes? Yes, come on in.
Yep. Here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for Penny for having me. It's really a joy for me to talk about olive oil. I think you can tell that we're all very passionate one way or another when it comes to this conversation. And just remember, everyone, what you're about to experience in this tasting is gonna change your life. If you've never done this before, it really will change your life. You will never be able to go back to subpar olive oil. And believe me, the market is flooded with subpar olive oil, and it's going to take people like us, and one conversation at a time, one training at a time, one whatever it might be at a time, to really continue to help these small brands, to get their name out there and get them placement on the shelf. So thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to us, and until next time.
You are outstanding. Thank you, Maria. And then my other lovely Maria Loy.
So they said everything. So thank you. We have to continue this effort, what you've done. Bravo, ladies, that you started. And I am here for you. And just remember, as we say in Greece, Metron Ariston, nothing in excess, except love, olive oil, and good deeds.
Bravo. Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much for joining us. And Christina, we started with you. Would you like to wrap us up for this section of the talk?
I just want to say a big Efcharisto. Thank you for having me here. I have so many things in my mind now that I want to share that we need other 5 hours in order to express everything. But the only thing that I want to share is that a very short story. I was in an olive oil tasting with a group of men from Ferrari Group, and they were complaining about the price of olive oil and the benefits of olive oil. And I said, how much does the olive oil of your car cost? And he says, €50. And I says, the most important ingredient, extra virgin olive oil, that will oil your body, costs $25, $30. So you spend more for a machine and not for your body. So it's important to, from after this discussion, it's important to reconsider what we eat, and to remember that whatever we do, it has an impact on our planet. And from my side, I want to tell you that our planet has put a big alarm to us. So we need quickly to reconsider our choices.
Okay, I'm so sorry, Christina, we lost you. But reconsidering our choices is a good way to end and to move back to the tasting portion. And I'm sure that a lot of questions that you all have are going to be answered. I want to thank our panel. You have inspired me. I thought I'm a chef. I thought I knew about olive oil. I have learned so much, and mostly I've learned that there's just still so much more to learn. And I look forward to continuing to learn from all of you. And I hopefully will call you friends. You're all outstanding women. Thank you so much for being with us today.